Perfect. So everybody sitting watching this, very welcome to this mobile seminar. It's called Healthy Moms, a smartphone application to promote healthy weight gain, diet, and physical activity during pregnancy, a randomized controlled trial. And I will start with introducing myself. My name is Pontus Henriksson. I'm a licensed dietitian and associate professor since yesterday here at the Department of Health, Medicine, and Caring Science at Linköping University.
Yes, and my name is Johanna Sandborg, and I'm a nutritionist, and I'm a PhD student at the Department of Bioscience and Nutrition at KI. And I also work here at the Department of Health and Medicine and Caring Sciences at Linköping University.
And we are from the Impact Research Group, led by Marie Löv, and we kind of have a two-site solution working on. So we're both represented at Linköping University and Karolinska Institutet. So here's a picture of the group members. But most importantly for this seminar, we're also part of the MoBILE Multiple Lifestyle Behaviors program, the MoBILE program, which is a Forte program. It was funded by Forte for the years 2019 to 2024. And it consists of 7 randomized controlled trials in various populations across the lifespan. And today we're going to present this one to the left in your screen, which is to promote healthy diet, physical activity, and weight gain in pregnant women. Here's a picture of all those has been involved. And today we will talk about, of course, the trial itself, but we will also give more information about the kind of work that has been going on that you cannot really see in a publication. So we'll talk also more about the development of the app itself. And you're very free to ask questions later about it. But just to get you kind of the basic understanding of the Healthy Moms trial, I think it's best to start with the study design, so you know what we did. So this is the study protocol, as you can see to the right. And the Healthy Moms trial is a randomized control trial in 305 pregnant women. And the aim of the app is to determine the effectiveness. The aim of the study, I would say, is to determine the effectiveness of this smartphone app, which we call Healthy Moms, on gestational weight gain, which is the primary outcome, but also dietary habits, physical activity, body fatness measured accurately, and the glycemia during pregnancy. And that's our secondary outcomes. And we recruit women at routine visits in Östergötland County in Sweden. And that's normally taking place during weeks 6 to 10 in the gestation. And the inclusion criteria is a single pregnancy. You have to be over 18 years of age, and you also need to be able to speak and read Swedish sufficiently well to have any use of the interventional content. We also had some exclusion criteria. If you had previously been diagnosed with an eating disorder, you couldn't participate. If you had pre-pregnancy diabetes or more serious medical conditions and treatments that may affect the body weight. At gestational week 14, we conducted baseline measurements, and then the women were randomized in a 1-to-1 ratio into a control group and an intervention group. The control group, they received the standard antenatal care, and that is possibility to take part in a group lecture about lifestyle in general, and also some measurements of body weight throughout pregnancy, but not so much more, apart from the normal routine visits. And the intervention group, they received the same standard antenatal care, but also the Healthy Moms app. which we will explain more about later. It contains a lot of information, push notifications, theme strategies, and also the ability to record your diet, weight gain, physical activity, and to receive feedback. We also conducted measures, of course, before the women were randomized. So they conducted a web-based 24-hour recall before. They conducted this recall for 3 days. We also measured the physical activity of the women with an accelerometer. I think you can see my arrow here. This is an actigraph. So we measured, and it measured accelerations, which provides information about one's physical activity. We also measured the women's body weight, but also, interestingly, we also measured their body composition in a bod pod. And it gives accurate estimations of the fat mass and the fat-free mass in the body. We also collected a blood sample, and women also performed a 6-minute walking test to assess their cardiorespiratory fitness. And they also did a hand grip strength test to assess their upper body muscular strength. And at gestation week 37, we do all these measurements once again, except for the 6-minute walk test. We thought it perhaps was too much to ask for in gestation week 37, and also you may have problems with pelvic pain and so on, which may limit your ability to perform. So we excluded that measure. 1 to 2 weeks postpartum, the women were measured once again in the bod pod, and then we also measured the infant in the pee pod. I don't know why this child is sitting up right here. It shouldn't be like that. It's safe inside the chamber here, but this is also a very accurate way of measuring body composition in infants, and the measurement takes roughly around 90 seconds and is safe and non-invasive. And after the randomization, the women start with the app in gestation week 15, and they register as app users using their email and telephone number, and then they get an activation SMS, and then they download the app in App Store and Google Play. And this is so we can be sure that only the intervention group can get hold of the intervention. And some status report as well. So we started recruitment in October 2017. We conducted a qualitative evaluation of the app. We conducted not group interviews. We conducted individual interviews with the women to hear their opinions about the app. And we did such interviews in 90 women between August 2018 and February 2019. And Johanna will talk a little bit more about the results of this evaluation. In April this year, we conducted the baseline measurements. And in total, we recruited 305 women. And in November 2020, we completed the follow-up measures in gestation week 37. And we were able to measure 271 women. And most of them dropped out because they had a child prematurely before 37 weeks of gestational age, and was excluded because of that. We couldn't measure them before the follow-up measure. That was the main reason why they dropped out. And also we measured the majority of the women also 1 to 2 weeks postpartum. And the completion rate regarding our main outcome, gestation weight gain, was 89%, which we are really happy about. So we don't have to fight so much with the multiple invitation and so on. We're really happy with this completion rate. And now Johanna will talk a little bit more about the development of the app. And I will hand over to you now for a couple of slides.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I will talk a little bit about the development of the app, and Pontus, you can go to the next slide. So just to provide you with some background, so in 2013, Marie came up with the idea to create an app aimed at for parents to promote healthy habits in their 4.5-year-old children. So then she developed the Ministop app, which was the first mHealth study that we did. And then after this, she got the idea to create an app aimed at pregnant women instead, and applied money for the HealthyMoms project, and luckily received funding. And in 2017, we started working with the HealthyMoms app. And there were a lot of people who worked with the development of the app. So as you can see, we were quite a few who developed the content. It was a multidisciplinary team with expertise in nutrition, behavioral science, obstetrics, psychology, physiotherapy, and physical activity. And we also had help, of course, with the technical platform from the company called Scientific Med, who also developed the platform for Ministop. And we also made sure that we got input from target group members, so from pregnant women or women who had recently been pregnant. And we also collaborated with midwives and the National Food Administration to make sure that the content of the app was correct. Yes. And as the HealthyMoms app is also based on the same platform that was used in the Ministop trial. So to the right, you can see what Ministop looked like. And as I mentioned, we conducted pilot interviews to assess the content of the HealthyMoms app, just to pre-test the content and to confirm the information that we wanted to add in the app, and to see if there was any other information that pregnant women might want, and to obtain relevant information and to confirm the content really. And this is just to provide you with a timeline for how long it took for us to develop the app. And this is probably very different depending on the type of app, but this is how it was for us. So between January and May 2017, we researched intervention content. And then after that, between June and October, we confirmed and finalized the content. And in parallel, of course, the Scientific Med worked on developing the technical platform and the technical solution. And then in October and November, we finalized the development. And then we had the first user on the 18th of November. So it took quite some time to develop this app. And this is what the first sketch looked like, or something that we did to show the people working with the technical platform how our idea or what we wanted to include. And this is what we ended up with, which is quite an improvement, I would say. Yes, and you can go to the next slide, Pontus. So now I thought I'd go through the app features to show you what the women in the HealthyMoms trial, what kind of features they have been using. So firstly, when the women enter the app, they receive this message. And in short, they have the app for about 6 months. And the aim is to inspire them to better and healthier habits. And during this time, they are introduced to 12 different themes, which I will talk more about. I think that's the next one. Yes, so this is the front page of the app when they first receive it. So as I said, there are 12 themes, and they have a theme for 2 weeks, and then another one is introduced. So they don't get all the information at once. Instead, they get it continuously throughout this period. And the app also has a pregnancy calendar, 3 different self-monitoring features or record for diet, weight, and physical activity, a library, an exercise feature, recipe feature, and the women also receive push notifications from the app on a regular basis. And this is just to show you the different themes. And the themes, they evolve around healthy food, healthy weight gain, physical activity, exercise, how to change habits. And the themes are quite lengthy, a lot of information. And as I said, they are introduced every second week. So the women have some time to read this information if they want to. And then for the next slide, you can see some of the content in the library. So in the library, we collected some practical tips, which in contrast to the themes are shorter text or shorter information that's perhaps is more easily accessible, which spans from how to read a food label or how to increase your intakes of fruit and vegetables, and so on. So practical tips. And the library also has, we collected frequently asked questions or questions that are common to have during pregnancy. And this could be, should I eat for 2? Or why is it important to eat healthy foods during pregnancy? And how much weight shall I gain? Can I eat everything? And also questions about exercising during pregnancy. So here we wanted to collect information that pregnant women seeks and questions that they might have. And as for the exercise feature, here we also wanted to create something for everyone. So workout tips for beginners, but also modified exercise routines. So something for everyone, regardless of their previous exercise habits or experiences. So we have information, but also a suggestion for exercise programs with videos, as you can see to the right, and information on how to exercise if you experience pelvic pain, or practical tips for more physical activity in your everyday life. Yes. And this is the recipe features, and here as well, we wanted that this to be accessible for everyone. So not just a lot of fancy, difficult recipes, and not at all really, but something for everyone. So if you already have children and eat according to their taste buds, how to improve that kind of child-friendly food. But also inspiration for weekly menus and recipes. And yeah, so something for everyone here as well. And the app also has a pregnancy calendar where the women can read about the fetal development, and there's also text to the mother and the partner. And this changes every week instead. So this is updated when the women enter a new pregnancy week. This feature is updated as well. And now for the self-monitoring features, or the record features. As you see there, they are for weight, diet, and physical activity. And you can change the slide, Pontus. Thank you. And first, diet. And here the women, and this is the self-monitoring features is for the women's own sake. So this is not something that we have looked at. It's rather something that we say that you use these if you want to, and this is for your own sake. So, and here they can record, but they are also, the push notifications also remind them of using these features once a week. And here the women can, for diet, The picture in the first picture is just what it looks like when you enter the registration for diet. So it's the date when they do it, and then for the second picture, it shows just one of these questions. So the women, they answer 5 questions regarding how much fruit they've eaten on average per day during the week that has passed, and the same for vegetables and soda and sugar sweetened beverages, candy and snacks, ice cream and pastries. And this is what it looks like when they have filled in this record. Yeah, so this, as you can see here, there is a traffic light up to the left. So this participant has not reached the goal for the week. And as you can see in the graph, there are 3 different, there are 3 lines. So the gray one is for fruit and vegetables. The purple one is for soda, candy, and ice cream. And the pink one, sorry. And the purple one is the total score. And this score is based on the recommendations. So here they can see if they haven't reached the recommendation, was it because they didn't eat enough fruit and vegetables, or because they had too much candy and ice cream, or both. So in the picture in the middle, you can see that the traffic light is orange. So there the participant is closer to reaching the goal. And to the right, the traffic light is green. So here the participant has reached the goal. Yes. And for the second record feature is for physical activity and exercise. And here the participant can also set their own goal of activity minutes per week. And then this is what it looks like when they register their physical activity. So they write the how long they've been active, and they choose the intensity, if it was moderate or high. And then to the right, you can see what it can look like. So the blue line is the participant's own goal. The green one is the recommendation of 150 minutes per week. And then the bars are the activity minutes that they have had during a week. And here you can also see that there is a traffic light. So this person has reached the goal for the previous week. Yes. And for the last record feature is for weight. And this is also what it looks like when they enter when they are about to register their weight. So it's very simple. And this is what it looks like when they register it for the first time. And when the women receive the app, when they first enter it, they are asked to write their current weight, and this is what the 0 is based on. So yes. And then the last picture to the right, here you can see a green field in the graph, which is the recommended weight gain. And that's based on the women's pre-pregnancy BMI, since there are different cutoffs depending on pre-pregnancy BMI. And here you can see there is no traffic light, but this is the only, the green field is the only indicator of if they are within the recommended weight gain. Yes, and now we thought we were going to talk a little bit about preliminary results. We are working with the database at the moment, so we don't have the final results, but we have some preliminary results to show you. And firstly, for the quantitative evaluation of the app, the women in the intervention group are asked to fill in a questionnaire regarding their usage and satisfaction of the app. And here the women have answered the question, are you satisfied with the app? And here we can see that the majority agree. The majority are very satisfied with the app, which is very nice to to see. Yes, and we have And this is, as Pontus mentioned, we also conducted a qualitative evaluation of the app where we interviewed 19 women from the intervention group. And the results from that goes hand in hand with the quantitative evaluation. And the results from the interviews show that the HealthyMoms was a valuable and trustworthy tool, and that it had useful features and relevant information that could aid in establishing or maintaining healthy habits during pregnancy. So it seems like the women were satisfied with the app and found it to be helpful.
I was muted. You always start speaking when you're muted. Okay, so now I'll talk a little bit about the more quantitative results and the effectiveness of the app. And as Johanna said, we have just started to look at the results. We got the first analysis from Marcus, our study statistician, last night. But we're quite confident in our results. But just to highlight that they're preliminary, but they're not very likely to change. So when we look at gestation weight gain, and the primary outcome was gestation weight gain in kilograms. And when we look for all the women in the sample, all 305, we do not see an effect on the gestation weight gain. However, as we also pre-specified and hypothesized that the effect may be different depending on BMI categories. So we tested interactions, and we also found that there was something interesting there, because it seems that for women with normal weight before pregnancy, the app had no effect on the gestation weight gain. However, for women that had overweight or obesity before pregnancy, the app appeared to have an effect, roughly around 1.5 kilograms. The women with the app gained less than the women in the control group. And that is also interesting because that's also very similar to a previous meta-analysis looking at more traditional face-to-face interventions in women with overweight and obesity. In the last meta-analysis and obesity reviews found a difference in roughly 1.5 kilograms between intervention and control. So we think that was very interesting finding. We also see that we improved the women's diet, and that is for all women. They report a better diet at gestation week 37. The effect size is not huge, but it's there, just north of 0.2 standard deviations, I think. And in terms of physical activity, we did not see any effect of the app. Normal progression in pregnancy is that you decline your moderate to vigorous physical activity, and this is what we see in both groups in a very similar way in the intervention and control group. So that's very exciting results for us, and we aim to analyze this, finalize them, and submit a manuscript before Christmas. So watch out for for our results. You follow our Twitter. We should promote that. Follow our Twitter as well. That it will be definitely out there. And also, I'm just going to change slide here. I don't know what happened. And also, as you saw in the method section, I mean, the women in this study are very well categorized. We measure body composition, physical fitness, diet, and so on very accurately. So it also opened up for additional studies. So we did also this study where we look at associations of body composition and physical fitness versus the odds of gestational diabetes and cardiovascular health. And as you see in this figure, we have the odds ratio for these conditions. So we have gestational diabetes, high insulin resistance, high blood pressure, or a high metabolic syndrome score. And this is BMI, body mass index. I think you are well aware of that. This is something called FMI. It's the fat mass in kilograms divided by height squared. So it's very comparable to BMI. It's just that it's only the fat mass you divide by the height. And for fat-free mass index is also very similar to BMI in that sense that this is the fat-free mass component of the body divided by the height squared. So the fat mass index and the fat-free mass index together equals the BMI. And this is only the body fat mass in percent. So this is also quite common to express body composition data like that. So what we saw that although we had a very accurate measure of body composition in this study, it did not seem to be very much better than the old standard measure of BMI, as you see here. So that was quite interesting to see. And also we also examined the associations of fitness and hand grip strength. And as you can see, associations here were much, much smaller. And when adjusting for all covariates, it did not reach statistical significance. So just an example of what kind of opportunities this well categorized trial opens up. So now we're quite soon finished with the Healthy Moms project. So what about the next step? And in the MoBILE program that we received money from Forte, we also said it was important for us to make our mHealth interventions accessible for people irrespectively of socioeconomic status or migrant status and so on. So a next step for us in this particular field is the Healthy Migrant Moms project. And for the Healthy Migrant Moms, we started one step behind, so to speak, because when we thought of this project, I was looking up studies about how your body mass index and especially how your gestational weight gain differs depending on your birth country. And that is important because we need to know about our target audience. For women that are born in Sweden, we know for sure that excessive gestational weight gain is far more prevalent and a bigger problem than inadequate gestational weight gain. But how do we know that this is true for all women? So this is something we wanted to explore. And when I conducted literature reviews and searches, there was not much data out there. So that was the first step in this project, that just to examine how does it look. So the aim of the study was to examine the prevalence and odds ratio of underweight and obesity in the first trimester of pregnancy, and also the prevalence and odds ratios of inadequate and excessive gestational weight gain according to birth regions in first generation migrant women and Swedish-born women. And we had data for 8 years and roughly 500,000 women in the study. And the gestational weight gain was classified according to the old Institute of Medicine recommendation. Now it's a national, the NUM recommendation is the new word. It's National Academy of Medicine is the name. And just because of the huge sample size, we were able to look at BMI and gestational weight gain in all 7 super birth regions and 100 individual countries. And here's just some descriptive data. It's just recently published as well. So this is, I can use this one instead. So here's just a descriptives. As you see, most women were born in Sweden, but we had quite good representation of other birth regions as well. And also, as you can just see from the descriptive data here, there were quite a few differences in the proportion of unhealthy BMI and gestational weight gain across the birth regions. And for instance, BMI, underweight, the prevalence of underweight was the highest in Southeast Asia and East Asia, whereas the proportion of overweight and obesity was highest in Sub-Saharan Africa. And regarding gestational weight gain, it was the opposite. So this was quite interesting. I would say that Sub-Saharan African women born in Sub-Saharan Africa, they had a higher prevalence of both inadequate and excessive gestational weight gain. And that is very interesting. Normally you would expect that if you have a higher prevalence of excessive gestational weight gain, you would have a lower prevalence of inadequate gestational weight gain. So that was an interesting finding to see. And just some results according, so here are the odds ratios. On the y-axis, the different super birth regions here on the x-axis. And as you can see from the descriptive data, women from Sub-Saharan Africa had considerably higher odds of obesity in the first trimester. However, and this was adjusting for basic covariates such as age parity, gestational age at measurement. So just the standard adjustments. But when we also adjusted for educational attainment, we can see that our odds ratio was quite heavily attenuated. And same for North Africa, Middle East. So if you account for differences in educational attainment, this odds ratio was quite heavily reduced, which is interesting, and also says that socioeconomic status is very, very important in the association with birth country and the odds of obesity. And we conducted similar analysis for underweight. Here we could not see the same strong effect of adjusting for educational attainment, but we can also see here that women born in Sub-Saharan Africa had greater odds of underweight. So women born in Sub-Saharan Africa had both higher odds obesity and underweight. And women born in Southeast Asia and East Asia had the highest prevalence of underweight. And regarding excessive and inadequate gestational weight gain, odds ratio was generally smaller, and but the lowest the odds for excessive gestational weight gain was in Sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia, highest in Central Europe and Eastern Europe and Central Asia. But it's interestingly also women born in Sub-Saharan Africa had much higher odds of inadequate gestational weight gain, and that is very important because you need an optimal gestational weight gain. If you gain too little weight, you have a much higher risk of delivering a child with that is growth restricted and small for gestational age, and premature delivery and so on. So it's important to gain appropriately. So basically, our take-home message from this study was that there are differences in body mass index and gestational weight gain between birth countries. And this is very important to take into consideration when we plan and design interventions for these target groups. For instance, if we would go to conduct intervention that is aimed more for women perhaps born in Sub-Saharan Africa, we need to definitely consider even more. We did have some topics about it in the original HealthyMoms app, but even more to also promote not only the avoidance of excessive gestational weight gain, but also the appropriate gestational weight gain, not gaining too little. So I think this has given us valuable information. One thing I didn't show here also, that there was a big difference between countries in different regions as well. So even dividing women into birth regions is quite crude, and especially need to consider the socioeconomic status influence as well, especially in terms of the obesity prevalence. And then we will also, next step is that we will do we are conducting a qualitative study in migrant women and midwives to investigate how we can adapt the HealthyMoms app also to women that do not speak Swedish sufficiently well to have use of the original app. And we aim to start with Arabic and Somali. Other languages may be of interest later on, English as well, of course. So that's our kind of goal with the Healthy Migrant Moms app, to also test whether this could be a good way also to promote health. Yeah. And I mean, we lack a lot of information and knowledge here. A lot of opinions, but not so much data. So it would be very interesting to pursue this track. And I think that was all for me and Johanna. So thank you so very much for listening, and we open up for questions, and I stop recording.